What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 7 of the Underground Pub Show here on the Pimpy K Multiverse Network. I am Schreiber, joined as always with my co-hosts CJ and Bobo. What's up, guys? How y'all doing this evening?
Doing great, doing great.
Good.
Was that a spirited intro?
Yes.
I was feeling pretty good about it.
That's probably your best one so far.
Was that my best one? I've been practicing it, guys.
It gets better and better every week.
It improves steadily.
Absolutely.
Well, every morning before I go to work, I look at myself in the mirror and I redo this intro every day. So, I mean, I've been leading up to this. This is my fucking Super Bowl today, man.
Nice.
All right, gentlemen. Well, there's been a lot that's happened since we last met last Wednesday. But before we get into that, CJ, you had a pretty eventful weekend. You got to go to New Orleans to a wedding for a good friend of ours named Adam Basso. And Adam Basso is a lawyer whose dad is a doctor, and Adam was getting married to a woman whose dad is a lawyer. And this whole wedding was a very popular lawyer, for that matter. This whole wedding was going down in New Orleans, so you can imagine this wedding kind of had to be off the chain.
It was awesome. Like, for the parts that I remember, it was really great. I want to show a little shout out to the new Mr. and Mrs. Basso. And I want to thank all of Adam's lawyer friends for being very hospitable. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I heard you guys were great.
They were awesome.
And Adam, if you ever see this or watching this right now, I apologize greatly. I couldn't be out there this weekend. My band Rain's Revenge had a show that Saturday. Couldn't make it out there. So, but either way, congratulations, brother. Hope you two have a long
Anything
and
weird happen while you were there?
No, it was run of the mill.
Just a normal, uneventful
Yeah.
wedding?
Yep.
Oh, okay. And normally when I go to New Orleans, something always bizarro happens.
Especially when that much liquor's being
Maybe I'm a
involved,
rare
but-
bird.
I mean, there was the ranch incident at this pizza place, but that's neither here nor there. We ordered a pizza, and after about 3 minutes, I drunkenly started yelling, "Where the hell's the pizza? It's taking so long." It was 3 minutes.
3 minutes, huh?
Yep. So, to anybody at that magazine pizza place, I'm sorry. I know you're not watching this, but I'm sorry anyway.
You never know.
One day they will,
You
CJ.
never know.
One day they will.
Oh, I'm
back
sure
to
they
the
have my
archives.
they have my picture up on the wall. Like, don't ever let this guy in again. He's banned from pizza.
The 3-minute man.
So, like I said earlier, it's been an eventful week in the sports world since our last episode. Really weird / awesome weekend in college football.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the NFL goes, week 2, we'll get to that. We're going to get to all this here in a minute. It might be a little melancholy for us here on the show today because everybody that's involved with this show, their team lost in week 2. Our producer, Kenny, his Raiders lost. Bobo, his Green Bay Packers lost. And me and CJ's New Orleans Saints lost again. So
Also, Kenny's Florida State Seminoles also lost.
Oh, did that happen? I didn't hear about that.
Was that close?
No, it was not close.
But I mean, apparently there's going to be an interesting discussion about that later coming on.
I guess there's not much to talk about. I mean,
It's going to be a fun part of our segment today.
Tune in
It's
every
gonna be a fun
Wednesday
part
at
of our
8 p.m.
segment
Central
today.
Time for the Underground Pub Show, right here.
Oh, he's in it. So he's into the show now.
So we'll talk about that game in a little bit in its entirety for how long it lasted.
Exactly. We're gonna start our show off today a little bit differently than we have in the last couple of weeks. Lately, the last 2 weeks we've been doing our triple towards the end. We're actually gonna start with that now. And CJ, I'm gonna let you lead this off with our now. Me and you talked about this before we got here.
Yep.
The immediate person that we would want to go to be part of our triple, aka our 3 stars of the week, should and we would like to be Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
Of Louisville's football team. He was part of the triple last week, and we're trying to make it to where we're having different people every week. But I mean, this kid is absolutely fucking unreal. I mean,
He is phenomenal. The guy, it's going to be tough for the Heisman. There's some great players behind him. But, in my opinion, he's by far the leader. And for our triple, we don't want to keep giving it to him because we're going to have to rename the award after him. He's just that good.
this is the Lamar Jackson Award.
The Lamar Jackson Award of the week. But the first guy that we have on there is Christian McCaffrey from Stanford. 260 total all-purpose yards, 2 TDs. The guy is just money. The son of Ed McCaffrey, the former Bronco. He's just unreal. It's just, goes in, does his job, and you can't stop the guy.
He's currently right now the leading running back in the nation right now, if I'm not mistaken, next to San Diego State.
Yeah, San Diego State's Donnell Pumphrey. He's leading the nation by 50 yards. He's
Darnell Pumphrey.
Yep, he's getting over 200 yards a game. San Diego State. Another great running back came from there, Marshall Faulk. So he's got to pay attention to. I mean, you got to look at those small school guys. I mean, they got all the talent in the world. So
absolutely,
they're playing a lot better. Small school football is getting a lot better these days.
It seems to
absolutely
be one of these days, San Diego State or San Jose State is gonna somehow end up in the top 10. I feel like it's gonna happen one day. Like maybe not in my lifetime, but at least in my son's lifetime.
North Dakota took down Iowa.
They did. Yeah, that did happen.
There's been some major upsets.
The second person we're gonna mention on our triple this week, I'm not happy about it.
Nope.
CJ's not happy about it, but it needs to be mentioned.
My fantasy team is happy about it.
His fantasy team is. Most people's fantasy teams are, but Cam Newton. We'll
Yes.
get number 2 on this one. Like I said, I as a New Orleans Saints and Alabama fan, I don't like this guy at all. I don't really care about his dancing and stuff like that. It doesn't bother me one bit. Football players do it. I just don't fucking like the guy because he seems to do well for teams that I can't stand. So that's why I don't like him, but there is no denying that he's an incredible football player. Had a hell of a year last year. And last week, he had a really good game against the San Francisco 49ers, which, I mean, yes, I know it was the 49ers.
They shut out the Rams the first week, so, I mean, they got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the Carolina Panthers turn around after a loss from the Denver Broncos. Cam Newton puts up 4 touchdowns and completed 75% of his passes.
Yeah, had a 75-yard touchdown to Greg Olson. I mean, the guy's unreal. It's hard because I don't like the guy, but I mean, it's hard to to ignore how good he is. Like growing up, being a Saints fan, Joe Montana was the guy that always broke my heart, but he was amazing. Cam Newton, I'm not putting him in that Joe Montana class by any means, but he's cruising to another MVP.
Yeah, it's looking that way. It is looking that way. I mean, granted, we are early on in the NFL season, but so congratulations to Cam Newton on that one. The third one is actually not a football player. For the first time since we've started doing this triple, and this is somebody that I recommended. It was kind of a tough one for me too, but Matt Duchene, number 9 for Team Canada in the World Cup hockey. He's also a member professionally of the Colorado Avalanche. And yesterday, Team Canada took on Team USA in a very dire game in the World Cup of hockey. It was dire for the USA, who in their first game in the World Cup, they lost 3-0 to Team Europe. And basically, the USA was put in a position where they had to win this next game or they were done. They were not going to make it to any kind of a medal round this World Cup. Yeah. And unfortunately for them, they had to play the favorites of the entire tournament, Team Canada. Team Canada was going into this tournament with 2 of the best players in the NHL on their team, and Steven Stamkos and Sidney Crosby. The Americans, I mean, they have a solid team this year.
But they weren't putting in their best players, though.
No, they weren't. They weren't. It's their coach has been hounded greatly about it, especially after last night's game, where the Americans came out and scored the first goal, but they went on to lose 4-2. Matt Duchene being somebody that scored 2 of those goals. He's one of the few people in this entire tournament that has scored more than 1 goal. It's been a very offensive, competitive tournament. The World Cup hockey has been, which is exactly why they wanted to do it. That's why there's only 8 teams competing in it, and 2 of them are continent teams. Now I'll explain that for a minute. There's a Team North America and a Team Europe, but there's also a Team USA, a Team Canada, and then on the other side we also have the Czech Republic, we have Russia, we have Finland, Sweden. So a lot of people are confused by that. Here's how this works. Team North America is made up of the best professional players in hockey between the ages of 18 to 23. Some of them just got drafted to the NHL and haven't even played their first game yet, and they're studs. Over on Team Europe, they are consisted of the best players in Europe that do not consist of countries that are competing right now. They are also loaded with great talent because they've got a ton of great Germans over there. They got some Switzerland guys that are really good. Right now, the Team Europe is in my opinion, the second best team in the tournament next to Team Canada. But that number 3 team, in my opinion, is North America, who had a huge win today over Sweden, 4-3. And going into the show today, I actually had Sweden's goaltender picked to be in our triple because he put together a huge shutout victory against Team Sweden. and I mean he blocked. I want to say the stat was 45 shots. 45 shots against a Finland team that's loaded with NHL players. I mean, these are all NHL players. You know, regardless where they come from, they're NHL players, and this guy put together a shutout. I was ready to make him my triple for the day, but before the show even started, Sweden got beat down by North America 4-3. And this North America team, I kind of before the tournament was really, really into this because I know when you hear the World Cup of insert sport like soccer or basketball, which we just recently saw a few years ago, you think of just a ton of countries all competing against each other. For hockey, because it's basically what's leading into the NHL season, they essentially want to take the best of the best of the best.
Sure.
In all of professional hockey, put them against each other in an international tournament, and as far as hockey fans go, they should be very pleased with this. But for the United States, though, what's really disappointing is they dropped 2 games in a row. First to Team USA, and then yesterday to Team Canada. And Team Canada, towards the end of that game, they pretty much made them look like they were just playing fetch with them.
Is it like World Cup soccer where you have to play out your group first and then go into
Group A and Group B, yeah. And unfortunately for the Americans, they were in Group A with Team Canada, along with Team Europe and Team Czech Republic. And the funny thing about that is the Americans, even though there's no way of moving on to the next level, no, they've lost 2 games. They're done.
They're done.
They're done. But they have to play a game tomorrow,
even though they're already out.
Yeah, and
that's pointless. They shouldn't have to play a game if they're done.
The tickets are already sold and everything, but they've got to play. And the funny thing is, they're playing Czech Republic tomorrow, and they're the other team in that group that's already out.
The problem is,
they got to do it.
The average American doesn't care about hockey in the NHL, so they're not going to put forth the effort they need to win. I mean, they didn't pick the best players. Like I'm not big into hockey, but they didn't pick the best players that the U.S. has to, provide.
I mean, they picked a majority of them, but one of the big issues about this going into the tournament was the coach of Team USA. He's also the head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. He was a very hot-headed guy. He was making a lot of press going into this tournament. He was taking the same approach that the coach of the 1980 U.S. Olympic team took. Because going into the Olympics that year, he did not take the best players that were coming out of college that year. He took what he quote and said, the right ones to beat the Russian team. Well, nowadays,
he picked the wrong ones.
Well, that year he picked the right ones, but this year he clearly picked the wrong ones because they said they were trying to put together a team to beat the Canadians because the Canadians, like I said, they were going into this tournament with 2 of the best players in the NHL on their team, and they
So would you put this guy as the bottom shelf bum?
I almost would, but I mean, our bottom shelf bum is going to be much more tasteful than that. But I mean, the head coach of the United States, you really fucked this one up, man, because I mean, there was 2 players in particular that were not part of Team USA this year that wanted to be on there. Phil Kessel and Tyler Johnson. That's 2 of the best American players that I can think of off the top of my head, and I watch hockey religiously. Those are the 2 Americans I think of when I think about how great some of the American hockey players that are out there, and they were not a part of it. And in fact, Phil Kessel yesterday was tweeting during the game saying that I'm just sitting here in my living room thinking I should be doing something important to do. And some of the American players thought that was kind of a dickhead move, but he's sitting there thinking, well, I should be out there trying to help you guys beat the Canadians. But I mean, but either way they lost. It didn't matter. They lost 4-2. So what was really aggravating about it was ESPN broadcasted the World Cup of Hockey, and this is the first time they've shown live hockey that's not college on ESPN in a long time because NBC owns the rights to the NHL. And I kind of looked at this as, I mean, yeah, you're right. The average American does not follow hockey, but it's still a very followed. It's still, the sport has a lot of followers.
Well, I know it has a following. It's just. I say, it's all northern states,
Well, to an extent, I mean,
Tampa has a good hockey team, but
they got a great hockey team. They're also in the top 5 in attendance in the NHL, but they're also doing well right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they weren't doing well, I know those fans, they wouldn't go to the game.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I've been to that stadium.
One of the things that has really exposed hockey to the rest of America is the fact that there's a ton of minor leagues of hockey in America. There's almost as many as there are baseball. And I mean, like here in our hometown, Pensacola, they brought hockey here over almost 20 years ago now. It has been 20 years now. And they pull in about 5,000 or 6,000 people a game, and they're the first team to win the town of Pensacola, Florida professional championship 3 times now. So I mean, it's making the sport more popular for what it is, and I kind of felt like this. I kind of felt like this World Cup that was being broadcasted on ESPN. They had all these kind of shows around it. SportsCenter was covering it really heavily, and it just sucks to see the Americans just come out, lose 3-0 to a European team, and then have Team Canada pretty much put them right directly in their place. So as an American hockey fan, I was really bummed out to see that.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, that's Canada's sport, hockey. That's their thing. But I mean, if you look back to the last Winter Olympics, Team America beat them in the preliminary rounds, and then they get to the medal round. USA played Canada in the gold medal round, and they lost 2-1 in overtime.
Well, that's to be expected. That hockey is Canada's sport. So, but we have a hotline open. So give us a call. Tell us if you love hockey, if you don't love hockey, and your thoughts on Team Canada or Team USA.
Yep.
Now, I think we should focus on the bottom shelf bum.
Yes,
which is this guy's category. So, Bobo,
Bottom shelf bum of the week.
Oh.
Bottom shelf bum of the week.
Sorry, I ran it up.
Okay, bottom shelf bum of the week. It's probably pretty obvious to everyone that who it's going to be. But it's not just saying Florida State. It's all aspects of Florida State football. Going from, I would actually start from the dean down to the athletic department, the defensive coordinator, the person that helps clean up the weight room, the lady in the cafeteria that serves the players food, Guthrie's on Tennessee Street and Publix, also AJ's.
Dude, I love Momo's Pizza, though.
That place, Bullwinkle's, that one Mexican restaurant that does a buffet style.
This is all the bottom shelf bum.
This is all, the entire, everything, the fucking bar that's named after Lord of the Rings that's there that sells that weird sandwich.
So the city of Tallahassee.
Everything, yes. That one place that sells kegs like really late at night. The girl that makes the public subs right now, I think she's like a redhead. Everyone is concerned in this because they all
the Publix that let Jameis Winston walk away with the crab legs.
Yes, I've never seen anyone. First off, no one in the history of college football that was ranked that high got beat that bad ever. It's never happened.
Ever?
Never. If Florida happened to Florida State, is quite possibly one of the greatest things. I will remember it for a long time. I will never forget it.
Was it your most favorite non-Florida victory in college?
Honestly,
was it better than Georgia Tech?
It beat many Florida victories.
It was outstanding, man.
It at least beat one.
I don't even hate Florida State, and I couldn't help but smirk a little bit throughout that.
I don't mind Florida State. That was not close.
When something happened,
no,
I just be there giddy like a schoolgirl yelling.
Speaking of which, CJ, didn't you go to a Florida State game one time?
I did. I went to Florida State versus Boston College. It was a blackout game. They had Ron Simmons Fruit there. They had a flyover, and Boston College beat them down. I literally sat in the stadium and called Boston College's play every single time, and they couldn't stop it.
It was a blackout game?
It was a blackout game, so everybody had to wear Florida State black jerseys, shirts. I went on the whim, and it was the same play. It was fullback dive.
I actually remember that because I was
keeper to
working
the
at,
left,
Logan's
and then a throw to the tight end, on repeat. And it was just they just marched down the field all over.
College football can get like that sometimes.
Yeah,
you just call the play before it happens, and they just keep doing the same thing, and
they can't stop
working.
So with Florida State getting so embarrassingly beaten last weekend, now let's move to the other side of the spectrum on that. Are we sold that this Louisville team, including that incredible quarterback, are they that good? Or are they just playing teams that may suck?
Yes.
It's hard to judge because, you can't say that because Ole Miss played Florida State really well, really hard, and then they lost the second half. Florida State came back and beat them. But then Florida State took your guys to the fourth quarter before they were able to beat them. So does that make Florida State good? Because
who's your guy?
Beat Alabama against Ole Miss.
You're talking about Ole Miss.
Yeah,
so
Ole Miss took them to the wire too. So if Ole Miss took them to Alabama to the wire, and then gave Florida State a challenge, does that make Louisville better than Alabama? Because
Ole Miss, that's their game. That's the one that they've been looking for. They beat them the last few years. they're going to play them tough.
That's why
so
I'm saying you can't judge it like that. There's no
I
way
just think
to
it's
know.
Lamar Jackson. I mean, he had 216 yards passing, 146 yards rushing, and 5 TDs. And the last TD that he ran up the middle was, I mean, Florida State. There was a lot of quit in that game, but
which I've never seen them do anything like that before.
And,
there was no tackling down the stretch.
There was a lot of quit in them, but yet the starting quarterback and I want to say Delvin Cook were still there till what? At least the fourth quarter?
Yeah, they kept them in, and then all of a sudden some random guy came out.
I mean, then they finally just threw the fucking white towel in and said, "Never mind." Like,
yeah.
I mean, it was almost getting hard to watch. I
loved watching. I was excited.
As
a
most
Florida fan,
boring
imagine-
games I've ever seen.
Like I was still at work while that game was going on, and I remember just like talking to one of my bar guests that day, just like this is not okay. Like they need to turn this game off. They shouldn't be allowed to show this on ABC. Like I've never seen rape like that on TV.
Know. Roger Goodell fined half the players for the Cardinals. Just, preemptive fining. For
How does Florida State bounce back though? Like that's an embarrassing loss.
Who they got? They got some.
They play South Florida this weekend.
Yeah, so they'll probably. They could. I mean,
USF has beat them before.
They'll probably have to come back at halftime to beat them, but they should beat them. Second half team, but
63-20.
But I mean, Clemson's probably going to be their next biggest challenge. I think. I don't know if anyone.
Well, Clemson had a pretty easy opponent last week. They played. They seldomly beat South Carolina State. What was it? 56-0.
Yeah.
But I mean, they seldomly beat them. But they
struggled with Auburn.
But yeah, they struggled with they struggled with
burning shit.
They struggled with Troy University. Like I mean,
it's hard to tell who's good.
Troy's good.
It is. It really is kind of difficult to tell right now with college football.
Maybe they are.
But
maybe
here is my opinion now. But you'll have a lot to say about this game. But here's a game that I have a hard time putting my finger on. This Saturday, probably the biggest game of the weekend. We've got Tennessee and Florida. Now, Florida currently, both teams are currently 3-0.
Correct.
Florida has got victories over North Texas, Massachusetts, and Kentucky. They killed Kentucky. They did good against those other two teams, too. They're small college teams. But either way, they're 3-0. Now, Tennessee, on the other hand, barely squeaked out victories against Ohio, Appalachian State, which they, in my opinion, should have lost. And then they looked pretty convincing against Virginia Tech in that 150,000
race car bowl.
Yeah, and the race car bowl that brought 150,000 people to see two teams that are guaranteed pretty much to not make the national championship. But I mean, I'm sure it was money well spent. Anyways,
Tennessee's still undefeated.
Yeah,
I mean, they both.
If they win,
well, I'm saying it right now. If Tennessee makes the national championship, I'll give both of y'all $20.
That means Alabama lost somewhere.
Go Vols.
Yeah, exactly. Alabama lost and Texas A&M lost and a bunch of other fuck shit happen if that happens. So I feel confident. Like I said, I'm saying it right now on live internet, whatever we call this.
That sounds good, actually. Live internet.
Live internet.
I will give both of y'all $20 if the Tennessee Volunteers make the national championship. You've heard it right here first. But anyways,
I got a new team I'm rooting for, man. I was gonna pick Florida, but
all right, so
$20 involved.
But anyways, though, I mean, but all joking aside, I do feel like this is a hard game to put your finger on because both teams. I mean, really, Florida does look great, but I mean, they've only really been semi-tested once. Now, Tennessee has looked pretty mediocre throughout other games. But either way, they're both 3-0. They're going down this Saturday. CJ, let's before we get to you, Bobo, because I know you're dying to dive into this.
Equally chat about it.
No, I mean, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Like,
y'all dive in, gentlemen.
No.
Give me 1 second.
I did some knowledge right here.
Yeah.
Florida. I mean, they just lost Luke Del Rio last week to
which is one of the factors. I'm like, we'll see how Appleby can do.
He's a transfer from Purdue. I mean,
who else went to Purdue?
Drew Brees.
Yeah, so
yes,
maybe there's something to him. We'll
absolutely,
see.
and
starting quarterback for LSU. It's the battle of Purdue.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So going against Josh Dobbs, obviously Dobbs has the experience factor, but they are also missing their All SEC defensive back Cam Sutton. But Florida, they're the #1 defense in the land right now. They've got a four-headed rushing monster. And
forehead.
They're four-headed.
The quarterback.
No. We're sorry, they're four-headed from Tennessee.
Have you seen that guy?
I've seen him on commercials.
Why is his hairline up here? So funny.
I think
you're talking about the other guy's forehead is as big as Peyton's.
Are you serious?
Have you not seen their quarterback?
No, I haven't. Is it that big?
Can we get a picture of the Tennessee quarterback?
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, he doesn't have a hairline.
I've only seen him with his helmet on. So
He makes
you know who had
LeBron James's hairline look sensible.
the best hair I've ever seen in college football is Chris Ricks. That guy could play a double overtime hair.
Oh, look, he's got a 5 head.
Yeah,
He can play a double overtime game, and his hair is like still perfectly gelled.
it is.
But
Or was, because he hasn't.
But the
played anymore
four-headed
since.
monsters, what I was talking about, Jordan Scarlett, Mark Thompson, LaMichael, I can't read his last name, and Jordan Conkrite, they're killing it. They have 8 touchdowns in between them, and they're running the ball effectively, which is going to be great for Florida.
Yeah,
They're going to need to with this, this rookie starting for them.
that many running backs running the ball is kind of like, ooh, we'll see how that works. But
Fresh legs.
it is working, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
I mean-
Look at that.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Is that Photoshop? There's no way
that's
that.
real life. Wait, it's real life. Barry's a pretty cool way back guy.
Dude, it's like
with a
Sloth
really
from the
bad
Goonies.
hairline. Yeah, it's something.
That is incredible. There's that's Photoshop. There's no way.
Were you trapped out there?
I was trapped for a
I
minute.
just heard giggling. I thought
You don't know how to open doors, apparently.
Apparently not.
Just leave that over Schreiber's head for the rest of the show,
make
please.
Yeah,
that
please, go ahead. I tried so hard to get fast because nature called, and I got trapped by
Oh my God.
contraption getting into the studio. But
Just that picture's just totally ruined my train of thought completely. What is that thing?
It's a 5 head.
I think he's gotten Peyton Manning beat. Like, seriously.
That's all saying.
That's,
There,
but he's really good, and
there's
Leave
that.
him right
no.
there.
He's Josh Dobbs hanging out with us the rest of the show.
sweet. I love it.
Honestly, I was gonna give the edge to Florida, but since I have $20 on Tennessee, I'm picking them. Even though the last time Tennessee beat Florida was in 2004,
Yeah.
Tim Tebow was in high school, and Ron Zook was coaching the Florida Gators.
So the last time Tennessee beat Florida, their the Gators' future quarterback had an entire college career, an entire NFL career to an extent, and now is even converted to a different sport since then. So
I was going to say, like, back then I had a future. Everything was going great.
2000
2004.
in 2000
the
and
Saints were on the come up. They were winning games.
actually in
and stuff.
2004, the Saints
Sorry.
were bad back then.
were they?
And I was still in high school. Actually, I was still in high
They were bad
school.
in 2004.
Yeah, I turned.
Well, you know what?
Just throwing it out there, man. I turned 30 October 6th. So
Oh man, I'm sorry.
yeah.
He goes downhill after 30. I
Well,
swear.
did you hear how silent it just got here there for a minute? Like both these guys were like, "Damn, really?" Like,
You're our last
yeah,
hope, man.
I'm the baby on this show.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm gonna very much be paying attention to this game. It's gonna be great.
It should be a good game.
I think the winner is gonna take the SEC East.
Florida victory for sure, so I'm expecting.
It can happen.
Well,
They run the ball. They play good defense. #1 defense in the land.
Yeah.
I see Florida taking
Their
it.
offense is not that high up there neither. Tennessee's. It's
I
kind
can't concentrate. You up there? I'm sorry.
See, I'm really excited too because after my 30th birthday, I'm getting an eye exam finally, so I'll be able to see this monitor that we have that shows the live chat, which I've never been able to see since the moment the show
Oh,
started.
they can't hear me. I keep getting sorry, guys. I get excited and start moving around, and then you don't hear me on the mic. But they're reminding me that I was probably that whole entire conversation. I was probably back here talking. I'm sorry. I get excited.
Well,
That was funny though.
yeah, apparently I missed the best part of it because I had to
We
go
were
take a
laughing.
piss.
You had no, we're basically laughing at the same thing that you're here for.
Well, that's good.
You didn't miss
getting,
anything.
Getting trapped by the, like I said, Kenny's contraption getting into the studio.
It's a door.
You just
Open it.
It was a door and it defeated me. It defeated me. Okay, I will accept defeat. You assholes.
Yeah, they
What
call that a
is this
door.
thing? It's got some weird handle-like object on the outside.
He's like,
Did I poke it?
down, push. What?
Why didn't I didn't want to
On,
break his doors or anything like
It was
that.
like the revolving doors. Like I hate.
I'm
those
looking
things,
at it
bro.
now, like
Yeah,
wondering how I got so stunned by this. But
Blowjob House has one of those revolving doors.
Dude, I
don't know
worked
why
at
they call it.
BJ's blowjob house in Gainesville.
yeah, I heard he took quite a load. I heard you made a load at that job, man.
Oh, dude,
Like,
I made a lot, dude. I was always
Their
taking
grilled
loads.
cheese is
You're
pretty
the-
good. I will not lie.
Their
And
beer is good.
the ahi puff
yeah, they
is
do have
pretty
some good beer there.
Yeah.
Another game that's worth mentioning, obviously this past weekend, was we've kind of sort of already mentioned it, but the Alabama Ole Miss game.
Yeah.
2 years in a row now, Ole Miss has made the quote unquote upset against. Well, it was an upset against Alabama, And this year, it looked like they were going for a three-peat against him, but Alabama managed to come back and win the game. And I don't know. I mean, did y'all both saw this game, right? Or at least saw the
Yeah, I went
highlights
to
of
the
it?
bar and watched it.
I watched highlights. I was
Can
in
we-
the process of getting drink.
Can we not agree that the most hilarious thing that happened in that game was the quarterback of Ole Miss throwing that terrible pass? It was worse than the LSU pass from week 1
Yeah.
to the defensive lineman of Alabama, this big giant guy, and this guy troweled his way down the field for a pick 6 and actually got the touchdown. Like, I mean, it was one, to me, it was the funniest touchdown I think I've ever seen because I mean
Kelly, right, the quarterback.
yeah, he threw it right to a defensive
He's
lineman of
good,
Alabama.
too. I don't know what happened there.
But I mean, it was
Jay
almost
Cutler
like
was making a ton of those passes on Monday night.
it was
too.
almost like the
He makes those
it was almost like
passes
the
on Tuesday,
defensive
Wednesday,
lineman.
Thursday night, too.
It was like the defensive lineman of Alabama when he caught it. He almost like looked at it from like, did he really just throw it to me? Like, and then finally took off everywhere in his scenario took off. He wasn't running very fast enough to where several Alabama people had to, run behind him to make sure nobody could tackle him. But I mean, that was it went on to be the touchdown that won the game because I mean, Ole Miss did manage to make a bit of a comeback again towards the end, but Alabama was the victor in that game. I mean, so one thing to say is, I mean, Alabama looked, they looked Alabama-ish throughout the game, but are we still sold that this is the best team in the country?
I want to see Louisville play Alabama. I want to see Ohio State play Alabama. I want to see Michigan
it's
play. I
basically
mean, there's.
until they lose. Yeah,
I mean, they are, but there's some teams out there I would love to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
That's hasn't been like that in a while. I really hope Louisville goes undefeated. I hope Ohio State keeps going.
I think
It's
even if Alabama and Louisville go undefeated, I think Alabama will still be ranked number 1. Until
well, I mean, they're the champs. They
they're
deserve
not
it.
going anywhere. Yeah, they're going to stay on top. They're not going to, unless they lose, of course. But I don't see
Yeah.
that.
Also
And-
playing
and-
a nobody team, so I mean that hurts.
Well, Jalen Hurts. I mean, he's overshadowed by all these other guys. He's having a heck of a year for them too.
Yeah,
Well, he's a quarterback for Alabama that is a really good quarterback, and that's pretty rare for them these days. Well, I take that back. It's not rare.
no, you're right. It's rare.
Well, A.J. McCarron was a really good quarterback. And he might be one of the best backups in the NFL right now. I didn't say I said one of them.
Everybody's
I don't know,
backup is
Garoppolo was
great,
pretty,
man.
Pretty damn good until he exploded.
Well, like I said,
Well, and now
I'm
they
not
got,
saying
Prescott.
I'm
They
not,
got
I'm not,
beef
I'm not
brisket
saying
in there now.
Like I said, I'm not saying A.J. McCarron is the best backup in the NFL, but I'm saying
Drew Brees is looking pretty good still.
Dude, yeah, I mean,
Drew Brees is a starter.
Is he?
Like,
yes.
that's funny right there. Anyway, that's
Apparently, we're so ugly. Our chat wants us to put faces over all of our heads.
and, I just got a haircut recently too, and I think I look fucking great. So you can go suck a cock, but
Hey
Oh,
man,
said that.
shut up.
really, you got that upset about it?
No, I'm not that upset about it, but shut up.
Nope, will not do.
All right. What was I saying?
We were talking about
Alabama.
Alabama and Ole Miss,
Yeah.
and Ole Miss has blown 2 leads in 2 games now. They're 1-2. Are they pretty much done? Are they donezo?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, yeah.
Unfortunately, they are, but they're a good team.
They're not
It
bad,
sucks
yeah.
for them, man. They
It is a
they
bummer. They'll-
shouldn't be where they are right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they win every game from the rest of the year. Like,
Dunzo.
Yeah, they probably will and could.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean they're still talented. They had
Yeah.
so many players go in the draft too, including the gas mask guy Tunzel.
yeah,
So, who I really wish in hindsight the Saints would have taken.
yeah, that would have been nice. But,
Yeah,
you know.
but that's how we do. We draft a linebacker with our first pick or our second first rounder a year ago, and he's not even on the field. We give away Jimmy
Dunzo.
Graham for nobody.
Pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Well, quarters on the dollar, maybe.
I mean,
Not nickels.
we got Stephon Anthony out of it. We got Max Unger, but I mean, they're not even playing Stephon Anthony right now, which is ridiculous. But
Yeah, I
enough
know
about
that.
my random Saints
And that
shot.
Graham is absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he's nothing of that. He should just come back.
He's
We got
just-
Kobe Fleener, come back.
You might as well just be like, can I just go back? Like, yeah, go ahead, man.
Exactly.
Can I leave? Seattle, do you really need me here? Oh, man, no, you're good. Go ahead. All right, man. Peace. I'm out. Just fly
Exactly.
back to New Orleans. Hey, guys.
I didn't mean it.
Good again.
So if you had to put money,
Promise you that first game, if you had Graham in there, you guys would have won.
If we
He might probably win the second.
if
game,
we
too.
just stopped the
Literally.
Raiders from scoring 22 points in the fourth quarter, we would have won.
Well, that
if we
also
had
could
5
be
inches
done.
to the right, we would have won. But it's
well,
woulda, coulda, shoulda.
If you
A lot-
would
a lot
have
of woulda,
10
coulda,
yards
shoulda there.
forward, then that kick might not have.
If the ref didn't throw a flag for a dumb pass interference call,
it was dumb. I finally saw it. And it was dumb.
they need to change that. If the ball is uncatchable, they need to change that rule.
Yeah, it's hit
I mean, like,
it's hit
I guess it's kind of.
it's hit the Saints twice in a week now,
Yeah.
or twice in a
Twice
row
in 2
now.
weeks.
But yeah, twice in 2 weeks.
Right.
But yeah, it's a bummer. But I mean, the rule is the rule. It
is
sucks
the
for
rule.
us. But moving on past college football now. Let's dive into this
Hold on,
NFL
1
week
second.
2.
I'm from North Dakota. North Dakota won against Iowa. Go North Dakota. All right, I'm done.
Go North Dakota, indeed.
Yes, they're a D2 school and they beat Iowa.
Wait, you're
They-
from North Dakota? I thought you were from England.
Minot, no, I was born in Minot, North Dakota, and I moved from there to Taiwan when I was 2.
Oh.
And then from Taiwan, I moved when I was 4. I moved to England.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Cool.
well, I won't
You
tell
learn
you where
something
I
new
was
every
born
day.
because you'll just give me shit for it.
Probably
You already raped that city earlier.
Tallahassee.
Yeah, I was born there.
Really?
No
Yep.
kidding, really?
Yeah, I was born in Tallahassee.
Why?
I've known you for like over 10 years, CJ. I didn't
well,
know
my
that.
parents
Like,
banged in the area.
So
So
you couldn't like hang out in Gainesville or something?
CJ's
No,
mom, if
well,
you're
no,
watching
like-
this, I'm terribly sorry that this is
yeah,
all
my,
being put
my
out about you.
grandparents
But
on my dad's side lived in Gainesville for a long time, and my uncle John was actually a professional cyclist. He went to UF and was a cyclist for them too.
Nice.
well, how about that?
Yeah, so little
So then
knowledge.
what happened with the Tallahassee birthing then?
Just like I said, I just kind of popped out there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to recapping a little bit of week 2 of the NFL before we get into the future games. One game that really stands out to me once I get my phone to cooperate here.
Stands out a lot.
Stands out a lot, and we'll just go ahead and get this one out of the way.
Other ones.
It's the same guy. He just has less makeup on in the first picture.
Oh my god.
The cameraman he didn't deflect his head.
I think I like the second picture better.
Which one?
No, the one that's on my right.
that one
or
over
it's-
there, or this
Yeah,
one
it's
right
this
here?
one right here. No, this one.
This one?
Yeah. I love it. Anyway,
Well, thank you for
NFL.
that, Kenny. The first game, let's just go ahead and get this one out of the way. Well, actually, no, let's get this one out of the way first. The Thursday night game that we were all kind of chatting over, Jets and Bills.
Yes.
Went on to be a pretty big game, 37-31 in favor of the Jets.
did.
Matt Forte had a huge game
Yes,
that day.
Matt Forte owners were definitely loving that game.
Yeah, they were. They were
The
very happy with
workhorse.
that game.
Unoriginal, but very fitting.
Man,
So
it's a good fit for him in New York so
it,
far.
Yeah, it
it
is.
seems to be like
Yeah.
because I mean Chris Ivory, the human glass house, like he fucking couldn't do shit over there. So like
He had a good year.
yeah,
For them?
he had some years, yeah, but I mean
I mean,
overall,
Forte's better.
but yeah, Matt Forte is better, and the Jets still never seem to really make it. They never made it past. They never really made it past anywhere in the playoffs with.
They were 10-6 last year, and they lost. On the last
Exactly.
week to miss the playoffs.
But anyways, with the Jets with this big victory over their former coach of the Bills, I mean, guys, what do we think about the Jets right now? Like, do they have any kind of shot of making any kind of a statement with this league right now, or was that just a fluke victory?
I mean, they're 1-1. They played a team they're familiar with. Rex Ryan is vastly overrated. That guy talks more than he actually produces. I mean, it was a close game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like Fitzpatrick behind center for them. Their defense is pretty good. But the thing is, the Patriots own that division, so they're going to shoot for a wild card.
Yeah.
Even without Brady, without Gronk, the two best players on the
without
Patriots.
Garoppolo,
As I was
Without Janine
saying,
Garofalo. And I said it last week, freaking Bobo was completely correct. I was completely
Again.
wrong. I picked the Dolphins. I don't know. That's kind of why I quit drinking, was all these bad decisions I was making. I said, like, Jay Cutler would be amazing.
that's scary.
Like, I can make, like, seriously, like, a loop of, like, the dumbest shit that I said.
Oh,
Like,
trust me, it's
seriously.
coming, bro. It's
I
coming.
mean-
But anyways, moving on from that, let's just go ahead and get this one out of the way. The Saints and the Giants. The Giants won 16-13 over the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing about that game was because last season these two teams played each other, and there was a combined total of 13 touchdown passes thrown by quarterbacks.
Yep.
6 for Eli Manning, 7 for Drew Brees.
On my
And-
bench.
Yeah, on your bench. And a lot of people were expecting this game to be no different. I mean, right up to where kickoff happened. You just heard nothing with the announcer saying this is going to be this high-scoring game, and here we have a 16-13 game.
It was a sleeper.
It was a boring fucking game. The Giants defense looked great in that game. The Saints defense looked really good in that game. In which, I mean, I can't even remember the last time I said that. But
the Saints didn't allow an offensive touchdown.
No, they didn't.
If we could block that guy on the field goal, we win, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean that was it. That was the big play of the game was
the ball helped out too.
Yeah, well
the
Saints are on their like 5th string and 6th string cornerbacks too. We've had 3 guys go on IR. PJ Williams, Florida State alum. I mean, that was one of the worst things. That was a tough hit, man. Like that was a really tough hit. Like I mean, it took a hot minute for that guy to get off the field. They were having to put him on a stretcher. You saw players from both teams, the Saints and the Giants, down on one leg, looking very concerned because not only when the tackle was made, but you saw a Saints player flying over P.J. Williams, knee going right to the back of his neck, and it just looked like it had to hurt. Who's the top right next to Peyton?
Oh my God, Jesus! Like
that's the guy from Mom and Dad Saves the World.
No, it's not.
It's your favorite actor guy.
It's not John Lovitz because I love. Like, first of all, I love Mom and Dad Save the World. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I'm not bullshitting.
I know we discussed it. It is a good movie. I like it though. It's fun to watch.
Not bad.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Yes, John Ritter.
But anyways, yeah, like it was a pretty crushing defeat for the Saints because like you said, CJ, they didn't let up in a single offensive touchdown. Mm-hmm. Yet they managed to. They pulled an LSU. They found a way to lose.
The Saints lose epically all the time. They don't just lose; they lose epically.
Yeah, because
they find the greatest ways to lose.
They're standing 0-2 right now, and their combined total of lost points is 4.
Yeah, I mean, if you can write a book on like the craziest ways to lose football games, the Saints have like a billion of them. My favorite being against the Jaguars in 2003.
Well, yeah,
we pull out the most miracle play out of our ass.
Missed the
and then we missed the extra point.
I
lived in Tampa, so I missed that game. So I just saw the score on the bottom. This is before like crazy internets and stuff where you can watch the game wherever. But I was like, okay, 2019, we tied it up, and then next thing I know, it was a final. I'm like, what the hell? We go for 2. And then I saw the replay, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah,
that sums up being a Saints fan.
I'm pretty sure like that'll go down as one of the most fucking crazy endings ever in a football game, just because. Yeah, I mean the Saints lateral the entire way down the field, missed the extra point, and that was before the Drew Brees, Sean Payton era.
15 minutes.
Well, enough about the Saints. Let's talk about the Packers.
One more Saint question.
Oh, come on.
I was gonna wait to ask this, but I think I might as well ask it now.
Sure.
How many more losses until you guys become concerned for
2.
Sean Payton's job?
2.
No.
You knew where I was going with that?
Oh, okay,
No.
well, okay, I take that back.
Like,
yeah, for Sean Payton's job,
Yeah.
He's safe.
You think he's
think
safe no matter how it ends?
Yeah, I think
because
so.
the Super Bowl clout will carry him on.
I mean, he's the best coach we've ever had. I don't see anybody out there that's better. That's just chilling, and the Saints love him.
Jimbo Fisher,
you know.
I mean,
I don't like Jimbo Fisher.
I don't think. No matter
so
what.
you don't think no matter what.
I mean, unless the Saints have a really, really bad record this year, which I still stand behind this. I don't think they will.
Well, they're off to a great start.
I know you're right. 0-2.
Short of 1-15, he's safe. I mean, like
you're right. I mean, it is an 0-2 start, but it's not an ugly looking.
When was the
0-2
last
start.
time they hit playoff?
2013.
Yeah. So yeah,
I mean, we've had some. We've had some Hazlitt-esque seasons, 7-9, like, and the worst thing I hate, and I don't like fans that say this, like, if you're 4 and like, you're out of it, and there's like a few games left, and you're like you have 4 wins,
just
suck, dude. Like, I mean, like,
for luck.
Because winning these bullshit garbage games do nothing. And like on the Saints report that I go on, they all talk about, oh, you want to build up a winning momentum for next year. I'm like, well, obviously it's not fucking working. So let's get the top pick and actually improve our team for the next 10 years as opposed to winning a garbage game.
A gentleman's agreement with the coaches that they won't tank.
The Bucks tanked to get Winston.
They did suck. They did do the whole
they
thing.
They did tank in that game. I mean, they were beating the Saints 20-7. And they took out their team.
Louis was still, or Love was still the coach.
Lovie Smith.
Lovie Smith was still.
Wow, look at all those foreheads behind us, man! Like,
dude, there's so many of them.
But he lost his job after doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, he still had a decent. I mean, he went like.
Can we get rid of that finally? Like, it's distracting me.
Well, enough about the Saints. Let's talk about the Packers and Vikings because that was the
that
other
was
game
going to be the
that
next
really
game I was going to
interested
bring
in.
up. Packers and Vikings.
Well, one thing I learned for sure is that the Minnesota defense is for real.
Yeah.
It's definitely
As
for
I
real.
thought, I was like, we'll see. And I was like, I saw, it's real.
Now, what did you think about Sam Bradford in that game? Because we shat over him
I was
pretty bad earlier.
confused.
Like, where'd he come from? Or
What was happening with him? Stephon Diggs was more of the issue than fucking goddamn Bradford.
Yeah. Well, Bradford can throw the ball.
Who
It's
has
just
Stephon Diggs in our other league?
I don't know, but man, I wish I had
It's
him.
me.
Oh, is you? Oh God.
But no, I mean, yeah, I didn't see that. I mean, I was like, okay, their defense is real. This is a real. I underestimated them. They really are this good, and there's a good chance we're going to lose this game. And I was like, what the fuck is happening with the offense? So this,
It's still a close game. I mean,
it was, but I didn't expect. It's just kind of funny how when they finally get this great offense or defense in Minnesota, their offense just starts falling apart. Finally, it's
Adrian
breaking,
Peterson
and
got hurt
ACLs
again.
Start snapping, and
He's looking to be out for at
thighs
least a
start
few
getting
weeks.
torn.
And,
they said no. It's months.
well, they're looking at months
He's
now.
Yeah, like
No,
they're done.
We were getting the
He's done
AP's clinic talk about 2 days, or I'm walking around the house right now. But everyone's like, no.
Well,
No.
CJ, this
No.
would be a question for you then. With Adrian Peterson being out, is Jared McKinnon, is he somebody to pick up on your fantasy team if it has not been done
Or
yet
is it
already?
I would-
Astagio?
Yeah.
Whatever his
Asiata.
fucking name is.
Yeah, Matt Asiata. I like Asiata better actually. He's gonna get all the goal line carries.
He's been there before, though.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
never-
he had 10
really-
TDs a couple years ago.
really? Okay, I know
Yeah,
he's
like-
done it before for them.
When he went down a few years ago, McKinnon was like running all over, but Asiata was the guy that was getting the touchdowns.
Okay.
I mean, that's why I hate the running back by committees because you never know who to go for. But I would, if you have the space, I would get both of them
Yeah.
and just see what happens.
Especially
I mean,
if you had AP.
and there's a lot of injuries too. Corey Coleman just hurt himself. Doug Martin's out for a few weeks. I got a shocker. Arian Foster got hurt again.
And now people are looking into picking up Kenyon Drake now.
Yes.
He looks to be the go-to guy over there in the Dolphins, and he was like, what, at one point down third on the depth chart? Mm-hmm. And now he's looking to be the go-to guy over there now because what's his nuts is like, pitching a fit about where he is on the depth chart as of lately.
And the
And-
Dolphins suck in general.
Yeah.
Ajay?
One game that really stood out to me over the weekend that I thought was completely hilarious, and I don't like thinking this way because a really good friend of mine that lives in Ohio now is a giant Cleveland Browns fan, and I kind of sort of root on the Browns because, like I said, they're kind of like that special kid in high school that you don't ever want to make fun of because they're special, and I feel like that's the
Dude,
Cleveland
that's
Browns.
what people always said about me, man. Like,
Whenever I see the Browns play, I just think of Hippie's face.
Yeah, and
sad somewhere.
Yeah,
It's always like,
our
come
friend's
on,
name
guys,
is Jason,
make
but we
Hippie
refer to him
happy.
as Hippie, and he's a Cleveland Browns
Make
fan.
Hippie happy, but they never do.
No, they never do. They don't make anybody in Ohio happy.
the Cavs won the
Christie
championship.
happy.
There is, the Cavs are the saviors of Ohio right now, next to the Buckeyes a few years ago. But the Browns had a sizable lead in that game against the Ravens, which is the team that they want to fucking beat that team every year they can. And they had a sizable lead, and they lost 25-20.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
the whole team's dying.
Fantasy owners were very stoked on the Browns that day if you actually started them. Isaiah Cromwell had a huge game.
On my bench.
I mean, it just...
Corey Coleman on
yeah.
my bench.
Well, he's actually got an injury issue right
Yeah,
now.
he just got hurt.
So,
So it's Terrell Pryor as their number one now.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess fantasy owners looking to him. But yeah, the Browns
Josh Gordon comes back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
the Browns had a sizable lead
He doesn't get
against the
arrested.
Ravens and managed to lose it. I didn't see that game. I don't know if you guys did or saw any takeaway from it. But I mean, is this just? I mean, I guess it kind of goes without saying. This is just kind of more of the same of the Cleveland Browns, right? Like,
I remember
Yeah,
seeing
they-
the score come across the ticket. I was like, and they were up. I was like, oh, they're gonna lose that. They're gonna lose that. It's not about my business, and then they lost.
it's.
They just can't. They can't.
Imagine how
close
much
any
money you would
deals.
make just betting against them every week.
I mean, Cleveland Browns fans, if you're out there watching, I sympathize with y'all. I really do. Like, that's tough.
One
That's
should
that's
call
really
in.
tough to
If
just.
there is one.
Yeah, I mean,
is there a Browns fan that watches our show?
The only is there
Probably
is one.
not,
Does that
but-
one watch the show? The one that's out there.
well, Hippie doesn't watch this show, so because he lives in Ohio and I don't really talk to him very often anymore. But
Christy's out there, our old bartender.
Christy,
liked
yeah,
She
She
liked
gave
the
a guy-
the other
brownies.
Browns fan.
There's two.
Yeah, she
There's
charged the
two.
guy $1 million fucking Jaeger bombs one time.
Yeah, she charged him $1 million
Million
for
fucking
a
Jaeger
million.
bombs.
I don't know, but that conversation was amazing. You mean you charged me for
A million Jaeger
fucking
bombs.
Jaeger bombs? And she was like, "What?" That's like.
All right, so we've only got a little bit of time left before we move before we end the
What
episode
about
tonight.
Texans Patriots for?
So yeah, we got the this Thursday night or tomorrow we got the Texans Patriots. This is suddenly looking to be an interesting game, gentlemen. What are we thinking?
Patriots.
You're taking the Patriots with all.
Not only that, but I think that Blunt's going to have a monster game, and everyone's gonna be like, "What
He's
the fuck
gonna
is
have
going
to.
on?
Yeah.
Why are they winning with like absolute a backup Florida quarterback who never took a? Did he take a snap at Florida?
I thought so. I thought him and Driscoll were sucking it up for a while.
Did he take a couple? I don't know. I can't even remember. I'm a Florida fan. I can barely remember this guy playing. So basically,
Well, they didn't have a quarterback for
into
years.
It's a system, man. It's a system in New England, dude. They'll walk out there and just plug in the ball to where it needs to go, what the hoodie tells them to do, and they'll walk out there 24-13.
I'm going Texans. Texans
Yeah,
defense.
I'm feeling the Texans too on that one.
I think the Patriots. They have to lose one of these games without Brady, and this is
Not
it.
going to, dude. I'm telling you.
I'll
I'm
tell
gonna
you,
lose one.
I'll tell you, if they win this game, they won't lose.
No,
Like,
I'm telling
but-
you, they're gonna.
And then
win.
when Brady comes back, they'll play the Broncos eventually. That'll be a tough game for them.
CJ, you sounded a little stumped there for a minute.
Dude,
man.
I'm just
the
there was a-
Broncos have no.
like,
They have no offense. They don't have any offense.
don't
at
need
all.
it with that
I have
defense,
no
man.
idea. I don't know how long it's going to last. You can't get your defense to score 2 touchdowns for you every week. It's not going to happen, man. It's going to go bad for them soon. Their offense, Emmanuel Sanders is quite possibly he's shit now.
Yeah, he's
absolutely
wasting away.
How
on
did
my
yeah,
that
there's a
happen?
reason why I didn't keep him in
How
fantasy.
did that happen?
I talked you out of that, by the way.
One game that looks pretty interesting to me that should be a fun game to watch, especially if you're a fantasy owner. Lions and Packers.
Oh my!
I mean, honestly, I'm not bullshitting. I think this could be an interesting game to watch.
Stafford's playing great.
Stafford's playing great. The running backs over in
Well,
Detroit
they
right now are
lost.
playing great.
Old dude's down, isn't he?
Amir
Yeah, but
Abdullah,
I mean,
yeah, he's out.
His backup
one
right now
brother.
is playing on the exact same level, maybe if not better.
Fantasy
But-
note: pick up DeAndre Washington because Stafford's been throwing to his
Yeah.
running backs a lot, especially PPR.
He has been. At one point in time, I had both of the Lions running backs in several different leagues. Dude was killing it, or both the dudes were killing it. Now it's just down to one. Another game of first and foremost, Siege or let's start with Bobo. Who you taking? Lions or Packers?
Packers.
Obviously. CJ, who you taking?
Packers.
Packers. All right. A game that's turned into be a game to keep your eye on this weekend. Vikings and Panthers. Real quick, CJ, who you liking in this game?
Panthers. I
It's
don't
tough
like the
now.
Panthers, but they're gonna win. I mean,
Yeah.
they lost Jonathan Stewart, so Fozzie Whitaker and Cameron Artis-Payne are the guys that you want to pick up in fantasy. Their defense is great again. Cam Newton is off to an MVP start again. The Vikings have lost too much, in my opinion. I think the Panthers will pull it out.
I feel like it'll still be an entertaining game, but I'm going to take the Panthers too. The last game we're going to talk about in football before we move on, before we end this
Move on home.
we'll
Move on to home.
Oh, never mind.
shortly.
Good.
This Monday night, I know a lot of our viewers are interested in this, and me and CJ ourselves. It's a big game if you're a Saints fan. They play the Atlanta Falcons. Now we're looking at the 10-year anniversary of the game,
Yep.
as we so refer to it as in us down here in the South, especially in the Gulf Coast, especially in the our friends over in Louisiana. That was, I mean, I don't care who you are or what you think about the Saints. That was a huge, huge, huge moment for, in my opinion, not just the New Orleans Saints in the town of New Orleans, but really us folks down here in the South and even the NFL. It was a huge play.
Absolutely.
And that started off the first game back at the Superdome against the Atlanta Falcons 10 years ago on Monday Night Football, where Steve Gleason blocked the punt, and the Saints recovered in the end zone. It started the road to a Saints victory that day.
Into an unlikely NFC title game appearance that year.
They
I
did.
mean, they were picked to be dead last.
Coming off a
Breeze-
3-13 season, yeah.
I mean, that was the first time I was watching a football game where there was no talking for at least 4 or 5 minutes after that block. They're just hearing the reaction.
You
of
didn't
the
have to
crowd.
be at the game. You could tell like the reaction that audience had when Steve Gleason blocked that punt, and God bless Steve Gleason. He's out there dealing with his issues right now. But
ALS.
ALS, yeah, and he's still kind of a spotlight guy too. And I mean, I give him all the credit in the world for putting his issues out there like that. So of course, I imagine this Monday will be a very emotional day for him.
30
But
seconds.
heard that. But I mean, it's going to be a great game to watch this Monday. There's a documentary about it coming on tonight. In fact, it's already aired tonight, but
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask.
NFL Network.
it'll come on later
Time.
tonight to get on NFL Network, and then another one's going to come on Fox this
of them?
Saturday. Two of them, yes, two different ones.
God.
So real quick, who's
Well,
winning?
This is not a homer pick. I'm taking the Saints. I feel like momentum's going to be swinging in their favor. I take the Saints at the Superdome against the Atlanta Falcons.
Saints own the Falcons. I'm going to take the Saints.
I'm going to say the Falcons, but I will say this. If you have any fantasy players on either team, I would definitely start them for that
I'm
game.
starting Matt
Yeah.
Ryan, unfortunately.
Easily.
Let's start them. That's always an exciting game to watch.
And
Yeah, always.
a quick recap that what I was mentioning earlier with the World Cup hockey tomorrow night. Finland and Russia, they go down at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Or they go down at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. That'll be a huge game. Russia needs to win that game. And then, of course, there's the United States and the Czech Republic. They play at 8 o'clock Eastern time in the game that's
extremely
basically useless. After that, the semifinals start on Saturday. So come this time next week, we'll be recapping the semifinals of the World Cup of Hockey, and not to mention week 3 of the NFL season and week 4 of the college football season.
Yep.
A lot going on in sports.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Yeah,
Favorite time of year.
great
Baseball
time to be a
playoffs
sports
are
fan.
about to start, too. It's
Vin Scully's about to hang it up.
Yep.
Yep.
Blue Jays lost a tough one in the 12th today to the Mariners, but they're still up there for the wild card, so we're good.
Kenny, is your mic plugged in? No, it's not. So
How are those wings,
Next
bud?
week I'll do something on that.
Next week.
Spicy.
Okay. I was just
What is
gonna. I know our producer Kenny's a big Dodgers fan, so I know this is a bit of an emotional time for him right now. But
You can't see this, but his
Those
wings
shirts
are
they
redder
wore
than
the
my
other day was
shirt.
funny.
they're really not that hot. I had one before the show
But
started.
the color,
not
it's
that
like
bad.
bright red.
Mine's
Just like my,
marinating. Look at it. It's turning purple.
oh.
I believe the correct phrase is blurple.
The Caribbean jerk wings at Hooters are hotter than that, and their fucking wings suck. But
I like Hooters wings.
dude, really?
Yeah, I
I don't
do.
like their wings, but that 3 Mile Island sauce is a snack.
Yeah, I like that.
The people that serve the wings are great. But anyways, thank y'all very much for watching the Underground Pub Show episode 7. We will see y'all next week. Until then, we'll see y'all next week.
Go Big Ten.
Yeah, saying that
Insane.
twice.
We'll see you next week.
Start off strong and
Hey, no, Schreiber, you definitely, you're the MVP of that show, bro.
I'm always in.
Man, seriously, I really want some of those wings now. No, I already turned them down. I want to go. Are you really gonna throw it away? So he's throwing it away. You're gonna eat it. I can't wait to start drinking again.
Thanks.
When it comes to class, these guys are somewhere between Kanye West and the SEC fans. It's your Underground Pub Show, exclusively on the Pimpy K Multiverse Network.
Hawaii football.
I think legit don't know anything about current Hawaii football. I just know about that one really good year we had. 2007. That's a good year. That was fun, though.
That was a good episode.
Should bet take this and actually write real notes next time. I think it helps to actually know people's names. I was like Jeremiah Ledbetter for. I wrote down notes for a game we didn't even talk about: Texas A&M versus Arkansas.
It's good though.
Julian
I
Allen.
might just start doing that myself. myself. At least right now, stuff I see during the week that I want to talk about. But dude, it's hard to get stuff in.
Yeah, I know. Like, but
I want to mention all those like documentaries that are coming out for the Saints, but we could
feel
really.
like we're at a weird time. Like, I feel like an hour is like not enough, but I feel like 2 hours would be too much.
Tune in every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time for the